It can be so hard to know where to begin when you're starting out as a video editor. You see all these crazy edits and think, I want to be able to edit like that. If only you could ask the people who edited it.
As you well know, editors are very busy people and they can't reply to everyone's DM. What if there was a better way to get this information? Well, today I'm going to do the hard work for you and DM 100 of the best editors I know and ask them for their best tip
in order to create an editing Bible.
So stick around to see who replies and what pearls of wisdom we get along the way.
And we already have 2 to add to the editing Bible from our last video.
Respect the viewer's time at all costs when deciding what goes in and what doesn't, and allowing you to murder your darlings, which means getting rid of good sections if they don't move the story forward.
Eat your vitamins, get some fresh air, and don't work for sack or socks.
So in order to get some more tips, let's start messaging some editors.
So I reckon we should start out big. Let's go for Mr. Beast and all of his editors. I call Mr. Beast mate.
He recently just posted a video which has the most views in 24 hours ever on YouTube.
We are now stranded on a raft in the middle of the ocean.
So they certainly know what they're doing.
I'm so intrigued to what everyone's going to say.
Next, the Sidemen.
There are a lot of Sidemen editors, so hopefully we can get some good responses here.
And let's reach out to Ryan Trahan and his editor, the creators of the super viral 1 penny challenge, and they literally edited it in the back of a van. They were on the editing podcast hosted by Hayden Hillier-Smith and Jordan Orm, who we are also going to DM.
And I also get really nervous when DMing people. I don't know why I always read through the messages like 7 times, whereas I really should just reach out to more video editors, but I don't. So hopefully this video is going to shape that, because I'm going to be sending a lot of DMs, or I'm just going to be a bag of nerves this whole video and I'll still be scared of sending people DMs.
Right, so it's day 2 and we are DMing more editors to get more tips, but who did we get replies from? Let's take a little look. So we actually got replies from a lot of Sidemen editors and a couple of Mr. Beast editors. No reply from Shitfat or KSI's editor, but I'm sure it will come in. Wait till the end of the video. Right, so we started off messaging Willany. He actually messaged me before, so I was a bit hopeful he'd reply on this.
Hey bro, loving the comeback of Twatty. Basil is the star of the show.
Now it's time to reach out to Willany's editor. I actually messaged Mikey before on Twitter, but he didn't reply.
Hey mate, I hope your feet have recovered from the marathon. To be honest, that was a while ago, so hopefully they have.
Next, a few creators, editors and producers from the Fellas Studios.
And just like attack all of them, not literally, just
send them a quick little DM. We started off with the newly bold Lewis Bowden.
Up the tune.
And loads more of the Fellas team. 2 hours later of furiously messaging people, we DM'd over 50 creators and editors.
I think that's it for DMing tonight. It's harder work than you think, you know. Got 100 of these things to do.
But day 3, we had to finish off and get to that magic 100. We messaged Casey Neistat, Matt Diavella, Peter McKenna, Nicole Milana, Airrat, Calix, Film Booth, Colin Sabir, Paddy Galloway, and many, many more. We went late into the night, but it was all done. It was time to see the pearls of wisdom we'd been sent. There's been lots and lots of replies. We're going to start out with the Sidemen editors. First is Restrained. He edits amazing motion graphics for the Sidemen, which will blow your mind. He said, remember to freeze your rotor brush sequences, which is actually something that I didn't used to do in After Effects, and After Effects always used to crash. And when I started to freeze frame my rotor brush sequences, everything just ran a lot smoother. Next is Thomas B. Filming and Adam Pike, who are also editors for the Sidemen team. They're crazy talented as well, so let's see what they had to say. Network and meet deadlines. So important. Networking, I really need to do more, and meet deadlines. For me, this is more important than your actual talent as a video editor. If you're a bad video editor but you meet deadlines, you're actually doing better than someone who is a great video editor but doesn't meet deadlines, because there's no point being a great video editor if you're not going to get me the video on time. Always keep your files and assets organized. Now this is great advice and backed up by other editors that I reached out to. Markups and TV, who has a great F1 TikTok channel and has worked with the F2 and other huge companies, and Kayla, who I've worked with very closely in the past on Yahoo, and she's a great editor too. But this is actually the only tip that came up twice. All the rest are unique, but this one has the backing of 3 great talented editors, so make sure you're keeping your files organized. And the next Sidemen editor is MP39 Edits. He has a great TikTok channel about editing, and he said learn something new in each video. Next up is Liam Bedford, the creator of Lord KSI the Musical. What a piece of YouTube history that is. He said, use the remix tool to adjust the length of your music track. Now this is a lifesaver. Again, another one that I haven't used that much in the past, but as soon as I did find out about it, I haven't stopped using it. And literally just drag out a song if it's not long enough and make it longer or shorter so that you get the good beat at the start and the good beat at the end. You're not just cutting the song off halfway through. Another huge reply here that I didn't really see coming from Dodford, and he makes full-length documentaries on YouTube.
I was 10 or 11.
Start and finish something small but different every day. This is so important if you want to learn and grow as a video editor, and if you're not trying different effects, trying different sound design, and really stretching yourself with the videos, you're never going to get any better. Next up, to the crazy world of TGF. And as their editor,
James Painter must have seen some crazy things happening behind the scenes.
and he's not only given us one tip, he's given us two for the price of one. Set your keyboard shortcuts all in a row. So I have Q, W, E and R as ripple delete left, ripple delete right, add edit and nest. I have actually been using the Q, W and E as ripple delete and add edit for a long time, and it saves you so much time. Just like flicking between all the three buttons, cutting, but adding R as nest is like an extra game changer. And now for tip number 2, spread out your flows of income like animating, consulting calls, management, graphic design to give you more backups and freedom as an editor. Now this is really important, especially as a freelancer, because it means that you're not worrying too much about your income and you can still be creative and enjoy the editing rather than just like, where's my next pound coming from? Where's my next paycheck coming from? And set yourself up so things are a bit more predictable. Now onto the Fellas Studios. Harry G Film said, add locked audio tracks in between voice, sound, effects, music. It means they all start separated and easy to navigate. Very underrated tip, this one. It means you can lock layers and you don't have to like constantly unselect them when you're trying to edit things. And it just means you have to click less, which is always great in editing. And also Lewis Bowden came in with an absolute banger. Watch your edits back with someone. They don't even have to know about editing, and pay attention to how you feel at certain parts of the video as they're watching it. This really helps us understand your edit, because when someone else is watching it, you're a bit more critical and you're a bit more thinking how they're feeling, and you'll view it as a real person rather than when you're editing. Now for Click for Taz. She has over 1 million subscribers on her channel and has edited some really great story-based videos on her channel. And she said to storyboard and have a strong idea on structures before you start shooting. I'm a narrative editor and feel like every edit has to have a story, which is so true. Story is king. And then we move on to some editors who I've worked with really closely in the past. Harvey I worked with on the Zach and Jay show. He was the senior editor, I was the junior editor when I was just starting out. Some really good memories from those videos, they were great. He said, as an editor, it's your moral responsibility to know all the footage. Never rush your selects process. This is so true. Selects are so often overlooked, I think because they're quite boring, but it's the basis of your video. If you do your selects wrong, your whole video is not going to be great. Now we have Louise. I worked with her on a TikTok channel with over 1 million followers called Four Walls or Grown, and it was really fun. It was really fun to be creative and make the short fun videos. She said the scene edit button is a great time saver. It really is. It's so good when you're working with footage that has burnt in edits already and burnt in cuts. Nick, he's an absolute beast of an editor. He did the huge project that was eBay Love Kicks, and he had a very out there tip, maybe the most out there of the whole replies I got. He said to leave a little Easter egg for yourself in projects, like a Persian rug. They always leave a little mark or mistake in the pattern that they've wove. I love this tip. It's not something that I've done in the past, well, intentionally. Maybe, you know, for more professional seasoned editors to do in the right kind of way. When you've got so many tips, it's good to have a variety. Now we've got some great freelance editors that I follow on Twitter. Sam P. Dunn, Tempo, Abusive Editing. Rather than just watching a YouTube video or just watching Netflix, I found it super useful to watch it with an eye for editing. It really does further your knowledge of editing because you're always thinking about it and you're taking little bits away for yourself that you can put into your own edits. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. If people don't know that you're out there for freelance work, how are they ever going to employ you as a freelancer? Stay focused and keep your phone on the other side of the room. I actually always used to tell myself that, oh, I need my phone next to me in case someone WhatsApps me about freelance editing or something like that. But now I actually use WhatsApp on my desktop and I put my phone in in a drawer. Now for someone that I was really surprised that they actually replied. Matt Diavella, 3.5 million followers, someone's videos I've watched for years, and the production quality and editing is incredible. So he's perfect to get some tips from. Let's see what he said. Get a rough VO as quick as possible and then lay it all out in a timeline. From there, I start to work with the music, imagine scenes and edit the script and VO in a way it starts to come alive. This is a really interesting way of working. It's not really a way that I do it. I actually have footage and then try to piece it together with the VO, and I could see this actually working a lot better. So I'm definitely going to be trying this out in the future. Speed is crucial in editing videos, and the fastest way to finish your video is to cut content out. Always ask yourself, is this scene really necessary? Next, Always Editing, who has a great YouTube channel called Learn How to Edit Stuff, and he's massively involved in AI as well. Set micro deadlines for yourself whilst working throughout the day. So he's talking about really small deadlines here, like 30 minutes to look for music, 30 minutes to finish this scene, 30 minutes to finish the next scene. And this just means that like time isn't going to run away with you. You know, when you're editing and you're like, oh, it must have been half an hour and it's been actually 2 hours. Now another great channel for learning editing, Film Booth. He's really taking educational YouTube content and making it so entertaining. Delete anything that doesn't drive you towards the payoff. The payoff and the ending of a video is so important because this is the last feeling that a viewer will have from your video. Now another one that I was quite surprised replied. I think it was the only reply I got on Instagram, and it was from Ryan Trahan's editor, Zach Levitt. The best videos can be made without any fancy effects. The goal is to make something simple and engaging. Timing, flow, effective use of music, and simplicity of story. It takes lots of practice, but prioritize telling a great story before you learn anything fancy. Fancy edits are useless if the story isn't engaging. Absolute facts here. Jack Cole, he owns his own media production company and has a great YouTube channel as well, and he kept it very short and sweet. Save the goddamn project, which is true. I've even set one of my shortcuts, I've set S to save, so that I didn't have to press Control S or, you know, go file save. I can just literally like button mash the S. And I've also set autosave to 5 minutes, so if Premiere does crash, I should only lose about 5 minutes of work. Next, Camillo, he has his own media production company as well and is absolutely smashing it on the YouTube. I've been loving his last videos. He's been doing tier lists and stuff like that. He said, take breaks and watch your videos with a mindset that you are already bored to death by your own video. This will help you figure out what fat needs trimming and what can stay. This is really true because so often we watch videos and we love them just because we've made them, but you know, the person who's watching it doesn't have that same connection to it, so isn't going to be as engaged as you are to your own video. Next is Nick Nimmin. He is a YouTube helping YouTube creators to grow, whether they're editors or just creators, create for the edit, before the edit. Now, I don't think people realize how much editing actually takes place before the footage even comes to you. And by doing as much work before the footage comes to you, it means that your edit is going to be so much quicker. Next is George the editor, and he actually did a video that really stuck in my mind. He edited a video for James Alcott, which was 30 days of spinning. It's actually 2 years old now, and I still remember it to this day. It was such a great video. And his editing tip was create consistency. Consistency will push past the failed edits, the great edits, the edits that didn't go as viral as you'd hope. Consistency gives you the stamina in the edit, which is so important. He's completely right here. Part of being a great editor is putting the time in and sitting down at that computer and being disciplined to sit down at the computer for hours on end whilst you cut the video. I'm actually so impressed with how many replies we've got here. Normally these DMing people videos don't really get many replies, but I think we've got like over 40, which is not bad considering we only reached out to 100 people. Nick Visser is a great editor with a really unique style, and his tip was, when learning, try not to use templates. Force yourself to learn how the actual mechanics of creating certain effects work. If you're a seasoned editor, you know it's fine to use presets, it's fine to buy effects and stuff like that because it all speeds things up. Breaking effects down and breaking them down frame by frame can really help you learn how to not just do effects, but how you could manipulate those effects to work in different ways in other edits. Following on with that theme of learning, we have a tip from Hello Charlie. Learn, and when you think you've finished learning, then you haven't. Keep learning. There's new AI, there's always new effects being added to Premiere Pro, After Effects, Blender. You can never be done learning. enlightening with editing. And next we have a great Twitter account that is always providing value, The Cutting Room. Be open to try different things with your work, be open to receive feedback, learning new things, putting your ego aside and stepping out of your own shoes. Now this is something that I didn't really realize when getting into editing, that I was going to get feedback constantly. It's almost like nothing's ever perfect as an editor. So it always feels like almost you're doing something wrong and you have to have a thick skin and, you know, don't have too much of an ego and just learn from those critiques and not take them to heart. Carrying on with the theme of Twitter, we have Muaz, who is great for inspiring new YouTubers. Get good at reading audio waves. It helps with knowing when to trim out dead space in a video. This can really speed up your editing because instead of having to watch every bit of footage, you can just scrub through it quickly. If there's no audio and you can see what's happening, then you can just cut it out if it's just dead space and you're not wasting your time. And now Cody Warner, he was actually one of the first YouTube channels I started watching, and I was actually really pleased that he replied. His daily vlogs were just the best back in the day. Start from the end when making revisions. I love this one because it's so simple but so effective. And we also got a reply from Atola Visuals. She has a great YouTube channel about filmmaking and a production company. She said, hire editors if you have too much on. And I think a lot of people think because they're great at editing or, you know, they know editing, that they have to do it and no one can ever edit like them. And it's just not true. There are millions of editors out there which are great. And then another editor who I know from Twitter, Peter, who has over 30 million views on the videos he's edited. Your first version is 100% bad and you can do better. A lot of people don't think it's necessary, but I guarantee when you redo the video the second time, it will be better. Sleep on it and take a night to just go back over it, see if you could improve it anyway, or go out on a walk. Just take your eyes away from the edit, get your brain out of the edit and almost see it with fresh eyes. And last but certainly not least, we have the Mr. Beast editors that replied. He got replies from 3 of his editors who work on his videos every single day and are a huge part of the reason why his videos are just smashing records at the moment. It's absolutely crazy. Rachel, Taylor and Josh were kind enough to take their time out of the day to reply, and they said, ask yourself the question in every segment, what emotion am I trying to convey here? So challenge yourself to be able to justify every single music choice in your next video. Music is so powerful, and I'm actually quite surprised that this is the first time it's been mentioned. I thought this tip would be mentioned a lot because it literally is so important. Music is so much of the emotion and creates so much of the emotion of the person watching. Too many people think about retention as just cutting stuff and making it quicker. There's a lot more to it than fast cuts and sound effects every 2 seconds. Focus on story and make it less confusing. I love that last bit, make it less confusing. Because a lot of people think about telling a story, you know, making it fast paced, telling all the engaging bits. At the end of the day, if people don't understand your story or are confused, that's when people also click off. So making it clear and making things less confusing and more simple to digest is so important, as well as story. And this is literally the final tip that we have, and it's one of my favorites that we received. It's from Taylor, who's actually one of the lead editors for Mr. Beast. Be good to those you work with. Clients, colleagues, designers, managers, and assistants. The whole creator YouTube space is full of amazing, passionate, talented humans who all take a huge risk on the newish industry with little structure and almost no career path. At the end of the day, your portfolio isn't what makes your career come together. It's the people you were good to, kept your word to, impressed with hard work, and made laugh with every conversation. True craft comes with time and experience. But that doesn't mean shit if no one wants to work with you. And it doesn't have to end there. We can do a part 2 to this, we can add more to the editing Bible. You guys can put whatever you want into the editing Bible and we can do another video. We'll see where this goes. And if you have enjoyed this video, it's helped you out, make sure to leave a like, hit subscribe. Thank you to everyone who took their time to reply and send me an editing tip, because I literally could not have done this video without you. I know editors were busy people, so it means the world to me that you took the time to reply. There were some absolute gems of editing wisdom in there, and everyone's link will be in the description, so do go and check everyone out.